some of them are like large fan type customers with 40, 50 orgs. And what we found is that a lot of them are doing things slightly differently. And the challenge they have is very much what we talked about. Since your data model is evolving so fast, your governance is not able to keep up. And every time you have organization that's trying to enforce governance, and it's just like, it seems like it's slowing down the progress we want to make. Because as Salesforce people, we are like, new features, new release, new stuff, DevOps, CI/CD, e-commerce, right? There is this push to get more and more, particularly with COVID, with economic, correction, all the stuff that's going on. So there is something really interesting in your Salesforce org today that you don't have to buy, you don't have to enable. So on every field in Salesforce that you have in your Salesforce object, standard, custom package, you have data sensitivity level and compliance categorization. And this is really interesting in how it can kickstart your governance without significant amount of effort. So what data sensitivity does is it lets you tag, fields with these sort of sensitivity. Are they public? Are they internal? Are they confidential? And this pick list that you see here, by the way, is editable. So you can add your own organizational interpretations of how you look at information and how you want to classify it in sales. So what's unique here is you're applying this at a field level, not at the value. So you would say the account, number is confidential for us, right? Or the secretary's name for a contact is internal information only. And you can apply that kind of tagging today. So you can do this today in your org. You go back, looking to set up org field, and you can do that. The second part of this is compliance categorization. And this is really what can then drive your compliance and regulatory controls, and as it pertains to Salesforce. So what happens here is that you can say that these particular fields fall under the purview of HIPAA, and this is your internal company interpretation, or for GDPR or PCI or COPA or CPRA. Again, in editable list, you can add your own versions. If you're in Canada and you want to apply the Canadian privacy law, please do. You can add those. And that way, you have this metadata around your object. So yeah, this is great. I can do this. I'm still not seeing how it moves my data governance forward. So let's dive into what real world problems can this solve and what customers are using to solve this today. So you can have a policy where you may say, hey, anything that's talking to my Salesforce, APIs, ETLs, extraction of data, pushing data into Salesforce, only specific systems can query, extract, or update information, especially if it is confidential, right? So very classic example, if you're in healthcare, you may say, hey, I have systems that are HIPAA certified and that are not, PCI certified and not, and a system that is not internally, we think it's worthy to have HIPAA information, we should not send that here. And you can tell people who are building integrations, hey, you're pulling data from Salesforce, don't pull these 150 fields from contact because they have HIPAA sensitive information. My downstream system may not be certified for that kind of information in usage. Great. I went in next day, added 50 new fields. Now you don't know what to do. And that's when metadata comes in. And what you can then do is you can have policies that require your integrations to first query field level metadata. Even before you query the actual data in an object, you would go, give me all the fields on contact that are not categorized as HIPAA. And then you can send that information. And it's a very nuanced difference. But the minute you do that, you have all of a sudden disentangled your governance from your data model, because your data model will change, will evolve. Your governance policies can now participate into this whole evolution without becoming a roadblock to it, right? It's not slowing down your digital transformation because you have data classification. As long as you apply classification and categorization, all of these integrations, API, if you're writing custom API on Salesforce, you're writing Apex, connecting through Heroku, AWS, MuleSoft, whatever you're doing, instead of binding it to the object and attributes of an object or fields, you are now using the metadata to drive it, all your policy, all your security, all your guidelines.